Is Felger and Mazz your favorite afternoon show?
Yes.
Felger and Mazz.
Who gets the first pick of the draft?
Draw.
It's the annual porking of the ping pong balls. Even if the ping pong balls bounce in your favor this year, the odds are likely you're going to get porked.
12. Wow.
Number 12.
Porking of the ping pong ball.
The Toronto Maple Leafs have won the NHL Draft Lottery.
The porking of the ping pong ball.
Toronto has won the first draw in the 2026 Draft Lottery, and as a result of winning the draw, they have the number 1 overall selection in the 2026 draft.
Well, you knew that was coming, Mazz.
Took it right in the 5-hole.
Right out of the chute. Right out of the gate. The porking of the ping pong balls came for the Boston Bruins. And we're going to lead with that because Don Sweeney and Cam Neely are going to be addressing the media this hour down on Causeway Street or Warrior Ice or wherever they are. And they want us to take part of it live. So we're going to be going to them soon enough. So we figured we'd start with this because it'd be too choppy if we started with Celtics and then went to Bruins and back and forth. So that happened last night. Bruins had almost a 60% chance to end up with a top 10 pick last night, the number 6 or 7 pick overall. They had almost a 60% chance of that. They had a 40-something% chance of not getting that pick. Toronto had only a 8.5% chance of landing the number 1 pick. And wouldn't you know it, it all happened, Mazz. Kevin Maggiore, your thoughts on that, please.
A rig job by the NHL. Absolute porking for the Bruins. Set up for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are in shambles right now. The media and fans for years were running a superstar out of town. Finally got it done. Marner's gone. They have a terrible year. They hired this guy as a GM that everybody seems to hate. And all of a sudden, the captain says, I'm not entirely happy here. I might not stay. And then there we go. They win the lottery. Number 1 pick, big name, replaces Mitch Marner. Here comes your new core 4 because we got to do everything we need to keep the big market
Okay, so Kevin,
flowing.
Rigged,
yes.
How do they rig it? Like technically, how did they get that number 12 ball to pop up through the chute there?
I don't know how they're playing with the balls to do this and get it set up. I don't know. Magnets, weight, whatever. There was something going on.
I have a theory.
Hold on.
There was something going on.
I'm not talking to you yet. Go.
I'm not a problem solver. I'm a problem identifier. I identify a problem. I don't know how to solve the problem. I don't know what was going on, but there was something manipulating that ball last night or that combination last night. I know I was screaming that it wasn't live. It was live.
So I was going to just ask you that again. We have a clip of you and Joe Murray reacting. You said that, how do we know this is live? Do you still, so you've backed off of that one?
I have backed off of that, but I would ask this question. How does anybody not in this room right now, the 5 of us, 6, we got Jake Seymour behind me, right? How does anybody know that this is live? How do we know this wasn't recorded 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, an hour ago?
Huh?
You lost me with this one, Kev.
How do people not in this room right now, right, that are just listening or watching on their TV, how do they know that we're not live?
I see. Well, we're not. We're technically 20 seconds. If you're watching on the broadcast, it's 20 seconds behind. If you're on the stream, it is live, allegedly. But what you're just saying...
but I've left that theory.
Okay.
I left that behind.
You've dropped that.
I dropped that one, yeah.
But you think there's some sort of magnetized ping pong ball?
There was something going on. There was something going on.
Jim Murray, you must agree?
1,000%. We live in a world now where pretty much everything is fake or a crock or a scam. And the Mavericks just traded Luka Doncic for spare parts. Oh, they won the lottery. Leafs go full Leafs this season. Risk towards trending being worst team in the NHL. They might lose Austin Matthews. They win the draft lottery. This isn't a coincidence. It's a crock. It's fake. The Maple Leafs scammed their way to the number 1 pick. And shame on me, too, because as we were all wrapped up in the Bruins getting porked, which they did, I should have realized this yesterday. Of course, if Toronto was going to end up winning it or the Bruins get screwed, they're going to get the number one pick. They're one of the marquee franchises in the NHL, and they're in the dumpster fire, and they might lose Austin Matthews. How do we fix that? Give them the number one pick. I don't know how they do it. I'm with Kevin. I'm a problem identifier. I'm not a problem solver. Maybe they waited. So if there's now a slowed down video of the number 8 ball, which I guess belonged to Winnipeg.
So here we go.
Was close to going up the tube.
Yep.
And then with the magnet or whatever it was that was being held there, maybe it was Bouchergras, I don't know. Up goes the 12 ball. Toronto wins. It's a crock.
Mazz, your thoughts?
If you wanted to fix it, what if you put like a P in every ping pong ball except the one you want to go up the chute?
Got it.
Okay? Like, again, it weighs down the ping pong ball so you can get whatever ball you want to go up that pipe. And boy, did it ever.
Do you think it was fake?
No. I think it was legit. But I understand the idea because the circumstances, it's hard to fudge that. Now, look, they could fudge the machine, that's for sure. But, look, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how you'd pull that off in that circumstance. It is a convenient outcome. Murray makes a good point with the Dallas Mavericks, too. When that happened, they trade Luka. They won the lottery. So it certainly feels like historically there are a lot of things that come out and make you say, well, how the hell did that just happen? But I think it's just a result of the Bruins being involved in something that they get porked. I think there's as much of a chance that happened as the fact that it's fixed.
Okay, so I am someone that's just the opposite. I believe that now everyone just wants to believe everything's fake because it's just, I don't know. It's easier to do that versus believe something you don't like. So if you don't like the news, it's fake news, which is what's happened. So if you don't like something, it must be fake because you can't deal with it. If you don't like my opinion, you say, well, you're making it up because you can't believe that I just actually believe that way. I would actually think that. So it's easier for you to cope with if you think it's fake or rigged or I'm making it up. And so this permeates society. Sometimes it just is what it is. A lot of times it just is what it is. It still just is what it is most of the time, including this. So for this to be fake or rigged, you have to say that Ernst & Young, which is the big security firm that they hired, and all these lotteries have some sort of attachment with whether it's
accounting firm or
accounting firm or as a security firm or like Lloyd's of London or like
both, right?
Or like one of these big houses. Who? Oh, by the way, I'm not telling you are squeaky clean. I mean, I think Anderson Consulting, weren't they mixed up with the Enron scandal or someone was? Like, I think there was another one of these houses that was complicit with. So I'm not telling you like they're squeaky clean, but you're saying on live television, right, Kev? Live? Was it live last night, Murray?
Yeah.
Live.
Like the moon landing.
On live television, Ernst & Young, this massive global firm, is going to put their reputation on the line to make sure one hockey team gets a player over the other? I mean, I love you. I love you, Jim. I do. Kevin, I think that's stupid. I think you sound stupid.
That's fine. And I don't, just because it's a name, Ernst & Young, get out of my way. I have to trust Ernst & Young. Me doing the J.O. move under the desk here, please. All these institutions now, everything has been determined to be kind of a crock. This is a crock.
Everything?
Pretty much. Feels that way. We're trending that way.
See, it feels that way because you want to feel that way because it makes you feel better that the Bruins didn't get the pick, so it must be fake, it must be rigged. It can't just be sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. In the Bruins' case, it never goes their way. This is thus the porking of the ping pong balls.
Yep.
By the way, I don't think the Leafs are in that bad a shape, are they?
I mean, I don't think they're in that bad a shape either. I think they kind of tanked to make it look worse than it was.
Absolutely. They were at worst a fringe playoff team that made it worse to get what they wanted last night. So they're not in that bad a shape. Yeah, Austin Matthews says, I'm thinking about, he has no rights. They have his rights. At least for one more year, right? He's got one more year until he's a free agent or something like that. I mean, they didn't just lose him. So I think people are overstating how bad. I mean, listen, I think they hired a bunch of complete clowns. As I read up on Matt Sundin and this new GM, holy crap.
I told you that John Chayka is shady as the day is long.
Holy moly. And Matt Sundin has been out of the game. Both these guys were out of hockey.
Correct.
This GM that they hired was banned from the league or suspended from the league as a shady freaking guy. He was working at on Wall Street or something, a financial firm for last 4 years. And Matt Sundin was not in the game. And now they're in charge of the Leafs. So listen, the Leafs are a joke. There's no doubt about it. But Sometimes, folks, it just is what it is. More often than you're giving it credit for, it just is what it is. You're just going to have to emotionally deal with something you don't like. Can you do it?
No. Now I sound like Jimmy or Missoula.
And oh, by the way, listen, it's a porking, but I'm not giving up on that pick because whether you get it in 27 or 28, I'm not sure if it's totally been decided yet, and it's unprotected. It would not surprise me one bit if the Leafs went to the bottom of the league in the next couple of years and it coincided with that pick. Because the guys they hired to run this operation, I think, are incompetents. And they're the effing Leafs. And I have no faith. Gavin McKenna. Oh, now I'm doing the JO. Like, big deal. Another first or second round pick that is going to take their team to last place? The last decade in the NHL draft is littered with top 3 picks who have just taken their team to last place. So, listen, I'm not giving up on the thing. Again, we've been asked to take Sweeney and Neely live here. They're addressing the media. Do you want to just what do you want to do here, Jimmy? We don't need the opening statements. Are they taking questions? What do you want to do?
They're still in the opening statements. Don Sweeney's about a minute into his opening statements.
Okay. I don't believe in opening statements.
No, me neither. Don't waste your time on that.
So when you broke down that the permutations of when the Bruins were going to get boned by this yesterday, did they have a say? Or is it up to Philly getting next year's pick?
It's kind of unclear. They have a trade with Philly that's top 10 protected for next year.
Because if they have a say, I want them kicking this can down the road and have it be unprotected in 2028. I think that's better for them.
I'll take unprotected any year.
Definitely.
Because I think
if you're going to get a pick, make sure it's unprotected.
And I'll take an unprotected pick from a bad organization anytime. And that's Toronto. And I don't care what their current roster looks like. I don't care how horned up you draft nerds are over Gavin McKenna or Harry Schmedlap or any of these kids who come into the league and do absolutely nothing in terms of wins and losses. Wins and losses. Oh, Macklin Celebrini. Look at his numbers. They suck. They still suck. They once again drafted into the top 3 last night for all of Macklin Celebrini's brilliance. So I have no idea if Gavin McKenna can play or not. Even if he can play, the recent history in the league is that he's going to come into the league and not win. So they could be a last place team next year or the year after. So I'm not, I still, what Toronto did gagging the way they gagged, I still think the hockey gods are going to repay them.
Well, so that's the thing. That's, to me, is one of the frustrating parts about this thing, is it worked for them.
Well, this is what I do believe. Not yet.
Well, okay, but they got the pick they wanted, is my point.
They did. But the hockey gods are going to, either Gavin McKenna is going to suck or he's going to be good. But they're still going to be in last place because
they're the Leafs.
Because they're the Leafs. And these 19-year-old kids don't win. They don't win. They come into the league and they don't win.
No, so that part is true. I just don't like seeing it rewarded because I do believe that they are, a middle of the pack kind of team. You want to tell me they're not a playoff team? Fine. What were they last year? How many points did they have a year ago? Didn't they have a crap ton of points a year ago?
They've made the playoffs like 8 straight years.
Well, that's what I mean.
That.
So, all of a sudden, they fall off the cliff and get the number 1 pick. That's the part I don't like.
Well, and I know. And I think they're going to get paid back for that by the hockey gods. It wasn't last night. But watch. Gavin McKenna is going to tear his ACL. He's going to suck.
Or he might be a bust.
Or he's going to come into the league and put up a bunch of points, but it's not going to translate to wins.
I've heard he's a little overrated.
I mean, he must be. What did Penn State do? So, I'm not. No. The Leafs are not going to be rewarded by this, even if you think they did. Even if you think they were last night.
Cooper Flagg's good. Won Rookie of the Year. Mavericks didn't get boned by this. They didn't deserve to have that go out in their favor.
Not yet.
Talking about here.
How did Dallas do this year?
They missed the playoffs.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to listen to Sweeney and Neely? Let's hear it.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do.
Finalist, I think, points to that. And Jonas, at times really, really played well. He might not have the same consistency level in quality starts that he acknowledged at the end of the year, but he stepped up at some really important times for us, and we're appreciative of both of those guys and going in. Now, again, we went through some ups and downs in the system adjustment that our players certainly were navigating. If you look at the data, even in the playoff standpoint, the first 3 games far different than what we gave up in the secondary 3 games. So I can't look at just one period of segment. I look at the January month that, we won 11 games in the month of January in a very, very difficult schedule. And the data would point that we played well. We played to our standard that we wanted to. We didn't give up nearly as many as what you described, and we controlled shot share. But you have to do that over the course of an entire season if you're going to be an indicator. If it's going to be an indicator of you having success in the playoffs. And that's where we allowed some variance to creep in that regard, inconsistencies to creep in that regard. The neutral zone was an adjustment for our club as well, which at times is really, really difficult to play against, and other times it puts some pressure on your D to get back and make exits under some extreme pressure, especially against teams that really skate and forecheck well. So we have to find a balance there. And now we've gone through the debrief of the tweaks that Marco, the foundation, I should say, that Marco has put in place that he's very happy about, and how our players eventually got to a better place. Now we have to find the tweaks to be able to say, okay, in the middle of a game, we might have to change the forecheck. We might have to and counterbalance a little bit with the other teams, but we're more comfortable in that regard. It is definitely an area that we have to continue to get better at. It's been a staple of our organization, and we had a big change, and now we have to continue to evolve, and hopefully our players continue to adapt to it.
Connor Ryan, Boston.com. For Don, you guys could have 3 2028 first-round picks a few years from now. How do you kind of gauge the value of those picks in your long-term plans? Also maybe measuring against, David Pastrnak mentioning maybe a bit more urgency of more immediate help. And how does that kind of chart your guys' path moving forward for this offseason?
Well, I applaud David in the sense of asking for immediate help. I'd say 10 years ago when he was working his way into our lineup, maybe the Bergerons and Chara said, how good is this young man? And we might say the same thing about Fraser Minton and Kuzi and James Hagan. So there's going to require some patience. I think we all alluded to that last year, that we needed to get back to be a deeper skill-based and adding speed to our club. I love the competitive nature of what David that comment represents in terms of him wanting. It's a disappointing, end to a season where we were, should have been on the doorstep of going back to a Game 7 in everybody's mind if we had taken care of business at home. So that's a reactionary comment that, from a really high-level competitive star player in the National Hockey League. And he's not wrong in the sense that we would like to accelerate when we can. If that means we use the assets of what you represented, are they all in the 2028 draft, or is it one push to 20? That's still to be determined to some degree. The ping pong balls dictated that it wasn't going to be this year. So we have to have everything in play in terms of how we continue to improve our club, and we have that mindset. We didn't sit back last year and say this is a 5-year process. We just said we need to attack these areas. We need to be a competitive team, and then we're going to allow some of our players to grow. And I use a couple of the younger players in that regard, and but we bounced back in some areas, and we're happy about it. But now we have a lot of work to do to continue to get better.
Jim McBride, Boston Globe. Cam, this is for you. Aside from implementing new systems, how did you see Marco handling the day-to-day and the ebbs and flows of his first season?
I think he did a remarkable job, to be honest with you. It's excuse me, it's not an easy job to be a head coach in National Hockey League, especially in a market like ours. But he had played here, so he knew what the expectations were. But until you go through it, you don't really know what you're going through. And fortunately, our staff, especially Adam and his group, really helped Marco along dealing with the media on a daily basis, which he hadn't really had to do that much where he came from. But there's a lot more that goes involved to being an NHL head coach, so I thought he did a remarkable job this year.
Tom Kaludi, Black and Gold Productions. This is for Cam and Don. When you introduced Marco last season, you talked about kind of the self-scouting that went into interviewing coaches and how player development was an area that outside sources kind of identified as an issue. What steps have you taken to kind of rectify and rebuild the player development part of this organization, and what steps do you think you might need to take to get it to where you want to be in the future?
Again, internally, we would not have viewed our player development as failure at all. I think our guys have done a really, really good job all the way as it's been passed along. You need to continue to implement younger players. We've traded away, in several years, players that are still playing in the National Hockey League, impact players in the National Hockey League. So, albeit we're trying to, to David's point, we are trying to be aggressive when we can be, and also identifying Doesn't matter if that's Kuzadinov and Minton. It doesn't matter when and where players are drafted. It's a matter of whether or not they can help your hockey club. Now you're watching Providence play right now and identifying the players that may be able to make the jump to help us next year. I think the job that our player development guys did with James this year and the amount of time they spent at Boston College to get him ready and to make the jump is important. And the progression that he's going through, having a chance to play at the end of the regular season in the playoffs, obviously going to Providence and getting that next level and understanding. Now he's going to go to the World Championships. So again, there's opportunities there that we need to continue to leverage and take advantage of across the board in every one of our players. But Marco had an eye towards that. He had patience of what was going on in Ontario with players that were going to graduate and go through, ebbs and flows in terms of where they're on. It's not a linear path for any player. And I think he's got a really good eye for, when a player is able to grasp what he's trying to do systematically and allow him to make some mistakes, but also hopefully the progression is there. And that's the merging part that we're all trying to do. And our guys are out, communicating with our next prospects and the guys that we're hopefully going to implement into our lineups down in the future. And they've done a really good job.
Okay, we're going to cut it. If there's anything worthwhile there, we'll let you know. Did anything strike you there, Mazz, quickly?
Not really, no.
Okay, so if anything strikes us, we'll let you know. You have thoughts on the NHL Draft Lottery. You think he got porked? You think it was fake? You think it was rigged? Thoughts on that? How big of a porking is it for the Boston Bruins? I can talk myself into being not that big of a porking. I don't believe in the Leafs. I don't believe in these draft picks. I do believe in the hockey gods. I believe teams that intentionally lose don't benefit in the end. So I'm still straight on this. How about you? 617-779-0985 to you right after these words.
Now, more of Felger and Mazz on the Sports Hub.
So 12 is the one that's indicated as the one that Toronto, if they get 12, it's not.
Oh, my
God. The porking live on 98.5 The Sports Hub, and the Toronto Maple Leaf GM is happy and smiling, and the porking live right here. Can you believe that?
That is a sham. Rigged. Sniff, Joe. Give us the sniffer. That is awful. That is such a. I'm out. That's such a rigging. I can't. That's a sham. That's absolute sham.
So Toronto will get
the first
the
overall
number one pick.
Yep. They make a terrible GM hiring along with this idiot, and then their star player today says, I kind of want to leave, and now they get the first overall pick. You cannot convince me that draft lotteries are not rigged. How do we know that's live? Explain to me how that's live. How does anybody in this room right now know that going on right now is live like they claim it is? It's not live. It was recorded earlier. This is a sham. The NHL Draft Lottery has always been rigged. Don't let anybody tell you it's not rigged. Rigged. We need to protect the Maple Leafs. We need to get them back up and running. The Bruins were once again porked with a capital P.
You're so mad you've lost your hat.
Yeah. I don't care that people can see me balding.
I love you guys. I do. You sound like lunatic. You sound like madmen.
Rigged.
And you sound sane because hockey gods are real and they're going to punish Toronto? Ooh, do you want to light up some incense, smoke some weed, throw fish on, too, while we're at it? Conspiracy theories, not real. Hockey gods, real. Ooh, coming for you. Here comes a lightning bolt down from the sky, Toronto Maple Leafs. You've been punished.
You don't believe in karma?
No, I think it's kind of a crock.
Really?
Yeah.
On balance, good things happen to good people, bad things happen to bad people?
No.
I do.
No, I go back and forth on this.
I mean,
sometimes
on balance,
really bad things happen to good people.
No, there's exceptions. It's not foolproof, but I think, like I said, on balance, overall, good things happen to good, smart people. Bad things happen to dumb, bad people.
Rigged.
It's fake. It was recorded 20 minutes ago.
Paul in Fairhaven, was it rigged?
Rigged.
Hey guys, hey Michael, I'm with Mazz and Murray on, but I'll let you win on the argument that it's probably you can't fix it, but let's look at it another way. Let's go back to the worst team gets the pick because you can't get a whole team to tank it. It's much easier to fix the balls And I just want to see what you think about that.
I don't even know what you said. What do you?
He says it's much easier to fix the balls and rig the lottery than it is to just go back to the old system of, team with the worst record gets the number one pick. In other words, get rid of the lottery is what he's saying.
Oh.
Because you can rig the lottery, but this way.
So you're saying Ernst & Young. Okay, Ernst & Young. We have a billion. I mean, I'll give you the bio of Ernst & Young. Okay, the clients they have, the accounts that they have. I doubt the flippin' NHL is their biggest account, or the NHL Draft Lottery is like their biggest interest.
I mean, I think the two biggest accounting firms in the world, again, what do I know? Ernst & Young and PricewaterhouseCoopers. Doesn't PricewaterhouseCoopers do the Academy Awards?
So I knew you were going to ask me something I have no answer to. I don't know.
I'm just saying, I think they're involved in big, very public things.
Okay, huge public security firm that it deals in billions of dollars in some of the biggest corporations and entities on the planet is going to put their reputation on the line because of Gavin McKenna? No, they're not. For the NHL? No, they're not.
You have to look into some of the backing of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Maybe it's big banking entities, rich a-holes. Oh, look at this. Oh, how squeaky clean Ernst & Young is. Has faced major fraud-related scandals. Scandals, plural. Most notably, a $100 million SEC penalty in 2022. Oh, just a scant 4 years ago. For employees cheating on CPA ethics exams. Cheating on ethics exams for Ernst & Young.
Small potatoes.
Yeah, definitely.
Rigged. We need...
Thank you, Kevin Maggiore.
How much in the NHL? So hundreds of millions of dollars. How much in the NHL paid him to oversee the draft lottery?
Well, it's got to be a lot.
Really? Hundreds of millions of dollars?
No, not hundreds of millions, no.
To make sure the ping pong ball machine is on the level?
No, not
rigged. We need to protect the Maple Leafs. We need to get them back up and running.
John in Hartford, go ahead.
Yeah, Murray made the point that this happened with the Mavericks, but it happened in the NHL last year with the Islanders. They moved up like 11 spots after the NHL took away the All-Star game. The NHL took away the All-Star game from the Islanders last year for the Four Nations tournament, and in return, they ended up with the number one pick.
God, you people.
This is great.
You people
are
freaking nuts. Sometimes it doesn't go your way. Can you deal with it?
Who wouldn't trade?
How do we know that's live? Explain to me how that's live. How does anybody in this room right now know that going on right now is live like they claim it is?
You guys sound nuts. Matt in New Bedford. Go ahead, Matt.
Rigged.
Listen, I knew that the Bruins were going to get the pork sausage right up their tailpipe because that's just the Bruins logo. It's just being a Bruin, okay? But the Toronto getting the number one pick, I'm sorry, that was rigged. And for the record, Michael, I think you're 100% right on Gavin McKenna. I think the dude was already arrested for assault for knocking some guy out in a bar because he was making fun of his mom or something. So
you mark my words.
I side with McKenna there.
Side topic. Okay.
Murray's violent today.
I love it.
Maggiore's on the edge.
It's
how do we know that's live? Explain to me how that's live. How?
You sound nuts.
Yeah.
The unhinged.
Both of them.
It's not going to work out for Toronto. McKenna's going to suck, or he's going to put up a ton of points and it's not going to matter, or something.
Yeah.
Or the number 2 guy should have been the guy, or the number 7. It's not going to work out for me.
I know. Okay, so look, I'm not as smart as you. I can't predict the future. Okay? But what I can say is that the goal of tanking is to get the number 1 pick. Mission accomplished. They got it. That's the part of it I don't like, because I hate tanking. I think it's ridiculous. It's a freaking business. It's a public trust. The whole league, every league is built on a good competition. You sell tickets because fans get to see good competition. So when you tank, F you. I think you should end up at the last pick every year, but it worked for them.
Update, then back with more. Don't go anywhere.
Joe, give us the sniffer.
Boston's best sports talk. You can count on it.
2 plus 2 is a 5.
Me sento un po' pacchiato perché Roma
Felger and Mazz.
For each of you as well, Cam and Don, what are your thoughts about having a captain, one captain, having gone through this season without that, if you feel it's something important, if you've discussed it? And I guess my natural follow-up, if you don't mind, would be, if I'm assuming the two veteran guys in Charlie McAvoy and then Pasternak, like, is that a difficult conundrum if you pick one, pick A over B or B over A? Does that create anything else, or just your general thoughts?
Well, I think obviously we would love to name a captain, but we've had some great captains here. So one of the things that we want to do is make sure we're picking the right guy, and Marco's going to be a big part of that. So having a new coach come in and implementing a new system, getting to know the players. I think it only made sense to see how the season played out, and then we're going to have plenty. We've already started discussions about that for sure, and we're going to have plenty more in this offseason.
Tara Sullivan, I believe, Boston Globe, veteran journalist, could take a page from Mazz over here. I'm telling you, Mazz, we have got to start the Felger and Mazz School of Journalism.
I'm in. I want to do it. Let's do it online.
That question, I'm telling you, like, the topic is so worthy. Tara, everybody. But Mazz will show you how it's done here in a second. Well, let me just tell you. That long, drawn out, wordy question. Why? The question is simple. Why didn't you have a captain? Now, Neely answered it for her anyway, even though she didn't really ask it.
Mm-hmm.
But that word salad of gobbledygook gives these guys at the podium an out. Ask the direct question that is the heart of the matter.
Yeah, you give them the ability to avoid it in your question.
Exactly.
Is no good.
Simply put, why didn't you have a captain? And again, he answered it, and I knew it was total bullcrap. Oh, you had a new coach. He's going to be a big part of the process. So wanted to get his legs under him before we move forward. Had some really important captains on this team over the years, and the coach was new. The coach was new.
It's bullcrap.
Oh, my God, is that bullcrap?
Yeah, the right answer is, why didn't we have a captain? Because we don't have anyone who's worthy.
So, and I don't expect him to say that because he's throwing Pasternak and McAvoy under the bus in that case.
Of course.
So, I don't know how he would answer it, but you just simply, why didn't you have a captain? And then see how but again, I think I got the answer. So he answered it, even though he wasn't directly asked it. And so that gives you insight into how they're explaining that away. But let me ask you, and Neely was, kind of around the team at this time. He wasn't in his current role. So he wasn't here when this happened. But in 2008, when they signed Zdeno Chara, he walked in as a captain day one, did he not?
He did.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Dave Lewis was a first-year coach, and they just gave him the captaincy, did they not?
Correct.
Yeah.
Did they wait around to see what Dave Lewis thought of the team or how it shook out?
No, thankfully, no, because that guy was a clown.
It would actually make more sense to give a tenured player the captainship with a rookie head coach to have more leadership in the room.
Bingo.
Would it not?
If Zdeno Chara retired last year and Marco Sturm took over with Patrice Bergeron on the roster, do you think they would have held it back from Patrice Bergeron because they wanted Sturm to get his legs under him?
No, and in fact, to Murray's point, you're better off. You're not worse off, you're better off. You're the coach. You come in and say, I got that guy as a captain, I'm in good shape.
Instead, they said, well, listen, rookie head coach with that dingleberry there, Pasternak is the captain, we can't do that. We can't saddle Sturm with that. It's probably even more telling than not, that answer about the coach. It raises the stakes of your captain because your coach is new. And it highlights how ill-fit David Pasternak and Charlie McAvoy are for the job.
Right, I see what you mean. In other words, the reason we didn't name it captains because it would have been worse for our coach.
Right, they're saying we wanted the coach to make the decision, be part of the process, and it was to support. No, it was really not to pork them. You're new on the job, you're going to be learning. We're not going to give you that on top of it. That guy. So let's see what they do going forward. I am still holding out hope that the real reason they didn't name a captain is because they got something up their sleeve this offseason for someone who really deserves to be the captain. But we'll see how that all plays out. But again, that question. God. What did he say? Have you talked to him? Do you shoot too many threes? Why didn't you have a captain? 5 words or less. God.
If you're
short and sweet.
If you guys are going to start this school and teach it, you're going to have to do it in a Pavlovian manner. If you're going to have the short questions, you're going to have to put like a shock collar on these people.
Or just give them an F. That question, F.
I prefer positive reinforcement. They'll all get cupcakes if they ask it the right way, because I think most of us like to eat.
Jeremy in the car on the Leafs last night. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Hey, I think you guys are missing the big picture, which is they already have the biggest loser on the Leafs, and that's Austin Matthews, and they drafted him number 1 overall. So they've already proven that no matter if you do have the number 1 pick, and the guy is great, he's still a big loser because he's on the Leafs. Thanks. I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Leafs. I'm not.
This isn't. Look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go.
This isn't about the Leafs getting better. It's about the pick not coming to the Bruins. So I'm not worried about Toronto getting the pick either. It would have been good for the Bruins to get the number 6 pick, number 7 pick in the draft.
It would have.
Right after they got Hagens. That would have been good. Now you get, a couple of players in the top 10 back to back, and you got more picks coming in the next couple of years. Like jamming them all up in 1 year, that's 3 years down the road potentially, or 2 years down the road. I'd rather get one every year. Like, to me, that would be the way to do it.
Chris in Rhode Island, was the lottery rigged?
I didn't see it live, but I heard about it like 10 seconds afterwards. How does Toronto, you miss the playoffs once, you get Austin, then you miss the playoffs again and you get McKenna? But Paul Biznasty happened to jump off the bandwagon, so maybe your take on hockey gods coming through, maybe that's why they got blood.
That last comment does not land with me. I don't. What does it matter who Paul Bissonnette roots for? What does that have to do with anything? Go back online, kid. Okay, go back online. Chad in Rhode Island. Go ahead, Chad.
Murray, please do not stop beating the drum. Felger has his head in the sand. If he thinks that just because the NHL has this big law firm or audit firm and that's going to keep things on the level, that's ridiculous. Billionaires scratch backs of billionaires. Toronto had an 8.5% chance to get the number 1 pick last night. Hours after Matthews said that he wanted to leave, they end up with the pick. And you had a caller earlier that mentioned the Islanders. The Islanders pick was leaked hours before it actually happened last year. So this stuff, it happens all the time.
How was it leaked, Chad? What do you mean it was leaked?
It was reported on Twitter that the Islanders were going to get it 4 hours beforehand last year.
Where?
Look it up.
What? Look at you. Tell me where to look it up. I'm not on Twitter, kid. Another one with the Twitter and the biz thing. I don't know. I don't know. You tell me who reported it on Twitter.
Murray, do your digging.
Murray, you do it.
The whole world has gotten stupid.
No, it has gotten stupid. I agree on that part.
And this is an example of it.
Yeah, I agree on that part of it.
It's all some sort of grand conspiracy because it didn't go the way you wanted. Rigged. Sometimes it doesn't go your way, and that's just the way that it is. There's not some deep state conspiracy. There's not some rigging. It's not fake. It just is. Sometimes the ball bounces your way, sometimes it doesn't. And no one can deal with it. No one.
It keeps bouncing the way of the teams that just gave away a player like Luka Doncic to the Mavericks. How do we make them better? Oh, we rig it for them. Maple Leafs in shambles. Did make the playoffs first time 9 years.
They're
Austin
not
Matthews
really in
might
shambles.
leave.
They're not in shambles.
Well, why were they in the lottery? Bad year for a team that's a original 6. Big market.
You know what I found amazing about that process last night? I don't know if you noticed this. After the first ping pong ball came up, Toronto's chances actually dropped. They went down to 4%. So with 3 balls to go, they had a 96% chance of not getting the top pick. 96%. And then boom, 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 they end up with number 1.
How do we know that's live? Explain to me how that's live. How does anybody in this room right now know that going on right now is live like they claim it is? It's not live. It was recorded earlier. This is a sham. The NHL Draft Lottery has always been rigged. Don't let anybody tell you it's not rigged. Rigged. We need to protect the Maple Leafs. We need to get them back up and running. The Bruins were once again porked.
Matt in Mansfield, your thoughts, Matt?
Kevin wants to be there.
Rigged. We need to.
Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, guys, the best evidence that these draft lotteries are rigged. This is undeniable. I don't know if it's been brought up, but I never hear it. It's what about when LeBron went to Miami? Didn't the Cavs get 3 out of 4 years? They won the lottery, and it set it up for his storyline comeback after the team was all built up.
So wait a minute. The conspiracy was that it wasn't just rewarding the team that lost a superstar. They were actually thinking 7 years down the road.
Correct. Good story.
We'll let Cleveland get all these first-round picks, let them get Kyrie and whoever else. So when LeBron goes back, he'll have a nice little nest of young players. So you see, they were thinking 7 years out down the road.
Right, yeah. They got Anthony Bennett in those picks, too. Might have been one of the worst number 1 overall picks in the history of any sport.
Mike in the car, was the lottery rigged last night?
Rigged.
So, you know how in the Xfinity info bubble, it tells you if something's live or not?
No, I don't. What's the Xfinity info bubble?
It's not live. It was recorded earlier.
What's the Xfinity info bubble?
Mazz should know that.
I don't. I have
You're
no
the
idea what
Xfinity
that is.
guy.
I have no idea.
Mike, go ahead. Go.
Well, I did notice that SportsCenter before the lottery said it was live. The pregame for the Avs Wild game said it was live, but the lottery never said it was live in the little bubble.
Rigged.
Kevin, there's a reason you immediately started ranting and raving about, is this live? How do we know this is live? So this must be part of the conspiracy theory out there online that people think it wasn't live. So give me some background on this.
I thought last year, I really felt that was the caller that called a little while ago about it being leaked, the Islanders one. I really thought last year was a sham of not being live. Where I really backed down as I realized that all the GMs were on like a Zoom call. Then I was like, oh, okay. So they're not, it wasn't. That was the heat of the moment. I also need to apologize. I called Matt Sundin an idiot. I really pissed off a lot of people in Toronto. I was fired up. That's why I just...
maybe he's an idiot.
Yeah, F them.
Well, look, 3 years from now, they're going to be saying the same thing about him. But, it was... I know it operates up there. Yeah, I just thought it wasn't live. Sometimes, I just want to know, how do some people sometimes just, know we're live?
Okay, so it's also the number of people who have to be in on it. If it's not live... Okay, so now you're talking producers, directors, cameramen, sound guys, floor directors.
Maybe even the people who clean the studio.
Okay, right. The TV executives, there's usually a centralized control that you have to talk to send it live through the satellites and everything. So now we're talking, dozens of people, a vast web. Never mind Ernst & Young, which is a huge corporation with a reputation to uphold.
And it must be trusted because they're a big corporation.
I'm just saying.
Lie.
It's all sports entertainment, brother. It's all scripted.
They're going to risk it so a certain hockey team gets a certain hockey player.
It's money, brother.
It's not big money for them.
Yes.
They got bigger fish to fry than that. I mean, you people are stupid.
It's your entertainment dollar, brother.
We're stupid, but karma and the gods, ooh, they're going to get you, Maple Leafs. All the bad people always pay, and everything good happens to good people.
It's NHL Entertainment LLC, brother.
Step outside.
Kevin
Live
Maggiore.
in the world. It's all a crock.
Kevin Maggiore.
It's not live. It was recorded earlier.
The most mild-mannered, pleasant,
raving lunatic.
That is a sham.
This is the best part of the whole story.
Rigged. Sniff, Joe. Give us the sniffer. That is awful. That is such a... I'm out. That's such a rigging. I can't... That's a sham.
Maggiore, how long you been in this job?
Oh, my God.
5 years?
Well, with you guys, 4.5 years.
Okay,
yeah.
5 years. 5 years on the job. I've never seen him this out of his mouth.
Unhinged.
No, he's usually nice and calm.
Rigged.
And
Sniff, Joe. Give it.
Kevin, let me tell you, don't back down with the dorks in Toronto.
Seriously, yeah. I agree on that.
Screw them.
F them. The guys that they just hired are a effing joke. The Sundin guy and that GM they hired, what a colossal joke. Those guys are. Clip that, put it up there, and don't back down. Losers. They're going to remain losers. They won the ping pong ball last night. They are going to remain losers.
They make a terrible GM hiring, along with this idiot. And then their star player today says, I kind of want to leave, and now they get the first overall pick. You cannot convince me that draft lotteries are not rigged.
Don't apologize.
How do we know
Don't apologize, but he is nuts.
I want to apologize to the people of Toronto for calling Sundin an idiot. But in 3 years, they're going to feel the same way I do.
Listen, the Felger and Mazz School of Journalism is in.
How do we know that's live?
Listen, Press Conference 101 comes your way right after these words.
Oh, that is great.
Rigged. We need to